You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 16th day of November, 2017. Hope you're having a great Thursday. You made it past Hump Wednesday. You're in that downward slide into the weekend, so start making plans. And of course, I'll see you in church on Sunday. Got to move quick. We have a special guest joining us today. We won't wax eloquent, but we will talk about, I don't know, cryptocurrency. Now, this gentleman, I'm not going to slaughter his name. I'm going to let him share that with us when he comes on. But just to give you an idea of who we're going to be talking to, he raised $1 million at the age of 20. He created a Facebook competitor in Australia. He was Entrepreneur of the Year in Australia in 2006. He went on to become a founder of a Groupon-type business in Russia, bringing it from 0 to 8 million subscribers in less than a year. He started the Air B&B in Russia, which quickly grew to an 80-person company. He's a founding partner of PLOV.com, which was the #1 upcoming business in Russia, ranked by Forbes. He currently works as a consultant with Lasik, APT Systems, Museum of Modern Art, Peter Neilsen, and more. Last but not least, he co-organized Synergy Global Forum. That includes people like Richard Branson, Malcolm Gladwell, Simon Sinek, Gary Vanerchuck, Jack Welch, Robin Wright, and Ray Kurzweil. I know some of you will totally recognize those names. If you don't, I'll put them in the show notes and you can look them up. Okay? Now, if you can't see my chart, go to the home page at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered through the end of the month. You only have to register once per month. Then you join the show each day with one-click access. You can also go to youtube.com/CFRN/live. Bookmark that page and you'll have one-click access. All right, I'm going to run through the numbers real quick, and then Michael's going to come on and give us a recap, because our guest will be joining us today at 12:30 Eastern. So here we go, down the list. Oh, different color of the day today. Now these are the cash markets. The Dow's up 190 points. NASDAQ is up 86. S&P 500 is up 21. And the Russell 2000 is up 20. Every one of those a mover and a shaker. The Dow is up almost 1%. NASDAQ is up 1.25%. S&P 500 almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 1.25%. Crude oil traded 55.14 last. It's down 19 cents on the day. Gold up $2, traded 1279.70 last. Okay, let's make our way down to the Asian markets, where the Nikkei came back strong today, up 322 points at the close, 1.5%. Shanghai was down 2.5%, and the Hang Seng was up 167 points, a little over 0.5%. And Europe, the predominant color of the day continues, with the FTSE closing up 14 points, the DAX up 71, and the CAC up 35. That puts the DAX up over 0.5% on the session, and the CAC up over 0.5%. The Nikkei, by the way, was up 1.5%, and the Hang Seng was up a little over 0.5%. So again, we're moving quickly because we want to make sure we have time to get to our guest at 12:30. So Michael, if you're ready, take it away and take your time, because you got time.
Well, actually, I don't. Macy just texted. She's not feeling good. She's sleeping at school.
Oh, I used to pull that all the time. Don't worry about it. No, I'm serious. I did.
No, but she likes school, so it's got to be bad. You know, she's a straight A student. She's got 100 in more than one grade. Anyway. Okay. Here we go.
Now.
Bring this over here.
Okay. Did you already grab the charts?
Not yet. I'm getting them right now.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll show that later.
Okay. Now I got the charts.
Okay, I can see your charts. I'm going to hit mute, and I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Or 10, or whatever.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 16th day of November, 2017. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at cfrn.net. Right here, we're at the top where it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room. 100% free trial. User indicators on our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page where we ask for your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button. And you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you will not get the free trial because we don't know that you took the trial. Okay, now in a recap. Today we had If you can read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosure stuff down at the bottom. Today, we had -3 ticks in the euro, plus 20 ticks in the Russell, and plus 2 ticks in gold. That comes out to 101.25 gross. Today, it took one trade in 30 minutes to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $100 contract. Took a total of 5 opportunities this morning. The gross on the month, 1531. That's over 11 days, averaging 139 per day. On the year now, we're at 29,813. That's over 216 days, averaging 138 per day. 138 per day. Okay. All right. Oh, here, I'll just minimize it. Minimize. Okay. So I'll show you what happened today. On gold, we had 2 trade opportunities. Each one gave us 1 tick in profit. And that was it. Yeah, that was it on the whole morning. We had 2 trade opportunities. During the break, it was really nothing. On the euro, we had this one right here where we made 5 ticks. We missed that one. We missed that one. And then we stopped out over here. And then during the break, there was nothing. And there was nothing. On the crude oil, let's see. Looks like I missed more than... I didn't do a single thing on the crude today, but I missed one here. I missed one there. I missed one there. I missed one there. And then during the break, there was another one right here. And another one right there. And that was it. So all the ones that I missed, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I missed, were all winning trades. And then during the break, I had 2 more winning trades on the crude. That would have made a nice total for the day if I had gotten a couple of those. The Russell. Now the Russell was pretty active today, but you gotta remember it was pushing. You know, when you see a big move like this, it was pushing in new highs on the day. That's what it was doing right here. You know, we grabbed this one trade right here, and we got 20 ticks out of it, and that was pushing in new highs on the day. Okay, but down here where we entered, we were far enough away from the high of the day that we didn't have to worry about that. Then we missed this one right here. We missed this one right here, and this one here. During the break, let's see, there was one shorting opportunity there, then I had to put in a lower swing, which it did over here, and the cycle was too messed up for any more shorts. And that was about it on the Russell. Excuse me, on the ES now. We are stuffed right at this zone here that, you know, a long time ago during, well, it was probably like over here. One of the partners asked us to look at an hourly chart. And Bert and I did a little analysis on the hourly chart, and I said, look for it to get up to the next zone. And that's what it did, and it's been stuck there. There was one opportunity here, right there. There was another opportunity right over here. And that was it on the ES. Excuse me. So, on the day, 16, we were -3 on the euro, plus 20 on the Russell, plus 2 on gold. Took us 1 trade in 30 minutes to get the gold for the day. And we took a total of 5 trade opportunities. On the month, 1531.25, that's over 11 days, averaging 139 per day. Okay, scrolling down on the year, 29,813, that's over 216 days, averaging 138 per day. Okay, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us, come here to the home page at cfrn.net. Right up here at the top, it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trial. User indicators on our strategy. Click here. When you click there, it's going to bring you to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Then click the submit button. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the trial. All right? It's as Simple as that. All right, and with that, we can pass it back out to Studio A overlooking South Mountain in fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Oh,
Okay,
America's
I'm
largest city park. Okay, I forgot to say it was America's largest city park. I knew something sounded off there. Okay.
I need you to make some cool patter or something for a minute.
Okay.
You know, say cool stuff. Show them how smart you really are.
How smart I really am. Okay, looking at this, these are last week's zones because this week's zone is at 84.85. 84.85. So we're right in the middle of the zone right here. But if we get through this zone, then the first stopping point on the way to the next zone would probably be last week's zone, right there at 88.87. You see that? If we're going to continue going up, and it's pretty bullish here. That is what we would be looking at. Now, without the ability to draw on Dwayne's charts, if you were to look back at the candle around 5 a.m., that swing high candle, and draw a trend line down the tops of the wicks, the close of the next candle that was at, looks like about 11 o'clock, that green one with the big wick on top of it, that's a bullish candle right there. It's a bullish close anyway, closing above that trend line. And you would anticipate it getting up to the zone where it got up to, and then the next zone up, because it went through two zones from down there. Okay. So, there.
That sounded pretty doggone smart.
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay. Let's see where she trades today. Okay. 74.70. Okay, so we've done a nice little retracement here into this area of support that we talked about. And now this is a daily chart. So there's one, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, now this wick here, got to watch out, because we either move on to take that out, or we roll over right here and go back to visit this low, this low, this low, and heavens forbid, this low. But that's the deal. Now, don't forget, I've heard, I don't have a firm date, but supposedly, according to some article or press release or something, the CME will release the Bitcoin futures contract the second week of December. Okay? Now, if you're in our live training room every day, paying attention to Michael, taking notes, you got your chart set up, you got your indicators on, you're trading the S&P, you're trading gold, you're trading crude, you're trading whatever it is you like to trade, and Michael's teaching you a rules-based method, exactly how to trade it. You don't deviate. You're never at a loss for what to do. You're never guessing. Should I be long? Should I be short? It's plain as day once you understand how to read the chart and the indicators. Not only does it tell you should be long the S&P, but it tells you at what price you go long. Okay? And then if you miss that price, you don't chase it. You just wait for the next setup. That's all. I said that to say this. If you come into the live training room and allow us to teach you how to use our indicators and how to use our strategy, the second the CME makes that Bitcoin futures contract live, we will begin trading it. Now, I've had some people go, well, don't you got to watch it for a while and figure out its personality and determine how you're going to trade it? Let me say this in my outdoor voice. No, we trade everything the same. Okay? A chart is a chart is a chart. You see this chart? Okay? And you see that chart? One was Bitcoin, one was the S&P. If this didn't say Bitcoin, you wouldn't know. If I hadn't told you it was a daily chart, you wouldn't know. It could be a 1-minute chart. You can see that this is a 30-minute chart, but it could be a 1-minute chart. or a daily chart or a weekly chart. In auction-style markets, where buyers are on the bid and sellers are on the ask, what our indicator set does for you is it goes into that market. Doesn't matter what market. It could be a market that's never traded before. And within minutes, it will find the underlying rhythm of the market. And it will clearly tell you to go long or to go short. Now, we use aggressive risk management. We never risk more than 8 ticks on a trade. The only thing that could potentially change with the Bitcoin futures contract, if there is extreme volatility, Michael and I will have to have a meeting. It could be the one instrument that we trade on something larger than a 4-tick range. I don't know, maybe we bump it to 8. Or if we have to do that, that's going to increase the amount of risk. I'm not saying we're going to do that. I'm just, in the back of my mind, I'm prepared for it if it's incredibly volatile. It might be very volatile the first couple days, then settle down. In the CME press release, in their words, they said, we're going to tame this thing. Those are big words, but the CME is a very big place. So, all right, Michael, we good? Michael? I guess he's on the phone already. Our phones have been quite busy of late. Michael, are you there? No, Michael.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Hello?
Hello. Hey, good afternoon. I know I'm going to slaughter your name, and I hate to do that. Bobir?
That's okay. Yes, that's correct.
Bobir. And I'll let you share your last name.
Akilkhanov.
I won't even attempt that.
That's okay. You don't have to.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for our guest today. I got an email from them a few days ago because I had written an article about cryptocurrency, and then I began to look into their company, and I said, wow, this is someone I want to have on the radio. Just a quick synopsis of who Bobir is. He raised $1 million at the age of 20, created a Facebook competitor in Australia. He was Entrepreneur of the Year in Australia in 2006. He founded a Groupon-type business in Russia, brought it from 0 to 8 million subscribers in less than a year, started an Air B&B in Russia. He's a founding partner of plov.com, P-L-O-V, which was the #1 upcoming business in Russia as ranked by Forbes. Current consultancy, works with Lasik, APT Systems, Museum of Modern Art, Peter Neilsen, and he co-organized Synergy Global Forum with some big names, including Richard Branson, Malcolm Gladwell, Simon Sinek, Gary Vanerchuck, Jack Welch, Robin Wright, and Ray Kurzweil. So, Bobir, welcome to the show, and I want to give you a chance to talk and tell us about yourself, your experiences, and how you got involved in cryptocurrency.
Thank you very much. My name is Bobir. I'm originally from, I was born in Uzbekistan. In 2000, my parents sent me to Australia. I did computer science and software development. In 2005, I started a social networking website. It was, at one point, it was third in the world, and it was very successful, but unfortunately, at one point we were not able to compete with Facebook, so we had to close it down. But it was really good experience. It actually gave me a lot of experience, entrepreneurial experience, and etc. And then in 2010, I decided to move to Moscow, and with my colleagues, we started Airbnb clone. Groupon clone, and that's where it just took off, and it became very successful. In 1 year, we basically made a $80 million company, and I exited company and I started investing, and then I created the Airbnb clone. It was successful as well. And then I started investing in different industries. The plov.com is is a clone of Seamless. And in 2016, it became #1 project by Forbes in Russia. And in between, people were approaching me and asking me to consult because, I do have experience raising funds, developing my own products. And so people started, asking me, hey, Bobir, can you please consult me with developing my project? And so I started consultancy business as well. I have my own in-house development team. And my first project was in UK, developing inventory management system for clothing. Yeah, some people have a lot of clothes, like 8,000, 12,000 clothes. They need to inventorize their all of their wardrobe. That project was success as well, and they referred me to another people. So my consultancy business started picking up. In 2016, I was approached by my friends in Eastern Europe, and they said, "Hey, do you know anything about blockchain?" And to be honest, I heard about blockchain. I heard about cryptocurrency. I've been following it since 2013.
Right.
But I wasn't really involved in the industry. I wasn't investing or developing anything. So I said, look.
Does that make you feel a little bit? Does that make you feel a little bit nauseous now? It does me, because we were talking about Bitcoin on this radio program in 2013. We weren't buying it. We were just talking about
it. Well, yeah, this is interesting. I was just reading about it. I was following, but I wasn't involved in the industry. So in 2016, people started coming to me because I had this consultancy business. I was developing IT products, and they said, "Hey, Bobir, can you please help us with ICO?" I said, "What's ICO? I never heard of that." So, and then they talked about. They said, "Hey, this is the industry that is picking up, and you should get involved with it." So I allocated 4 people in my team. I said, "Guys, we need to learn. We need to learn what the smart contracts are, what is blockchain," and slowly it just picked up. And then right now we basically have 4 to 5 leads every single day coming to us, asking us to develop something, develop smart contracts, be involved in ICOs and etc. 2017 being very crazy. We have so many leads, unbelievable. So that's how I actually got involved with the cryptocurrency and blockchains.
So the company that you're working with now in New York, you're in New York City now, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And so the company that you're involved with now, exactly what do you guys do?
We are developers. We're engineers. We're not a funds. We don't invest in cryptocurrency. We actually help. If you have an idea, if you want to have a successful ICO, you need people like us. We develop the product for you. We have engineers. We have all the skill sets.
Gotcha. So
to develop the technology. So there are companies who do PR. We are not one of them, but we are engineers. So if you want to build, let's say if you want to build a IT product and do ICO, we are the ones who are going to build that product for you and help with creating all these tokens, token generations, and etc. Coding the smart contracts on the Ethereum platform.
Gotcha. So you're the nuts and bolts guy. You are to what the gold rush of the 1800s was here in America. You're the guy selling the picks and axes and blue jeans. You're not the ones out digging for the gold. Is that right? Is that a good synopsis?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we do the dirty work. We do the engineering work. Developers.
Okay, you do the heavy lifting while I just go on CNBC and smile at the nice folks, right? Okay. Gotcha.
That's correct. That's correct.
How many developers do you have working for you?
Right now, we have 40 people who are involved in blockchain, and but overall, we have 120 people, like the contractors and seasonal, developers.
As far as software applications and that type of thing, have you guys ever done any charting platforms?
Charting?
Right.
Yes, we're actually doing for one public company. It's called APT Systems. It's publicly traded company. We're doing a charting platform, but I'm not allowed to disclose the project because we haven't completed it. But we are planning to launch it. We're planning to complete the project within 2 to 3 weeks, and it's going to be there will be a press release, and and then we can talk about it. But
now,
we are involved in the project.
We've heard all kinds of commentary from all sorts of folks, from the guys who what's his name from. Trying to think of the guy's name now. Is John has the antivirus company. I can't believe his name just escaped me at the moment. Somebody
McAfee.
Yeah, McAfee. He says it's going to 500,000. I've heard 1 million. I've heard 40,000. I've heard it's going to blow up in your face. Do you have a personal opinion what the future looks like? And will cryptocurrency be a part of the future 50 years from now?
Absolutely, 100%. It's going to stay. Blockchain technology is going to stay, and the cryptocurrency is going to stay. There will be, some of them will die out. There's a lot of altcoins right now, but probably. There will be 3 to 4 major cryptocurrencies, and they're going to stay. They're very, very convenient, and that's why. If you asked me this question in 2012 or 13, I would doubt. I would probably say, well, I don't know. But right now, I've been talking to the industry experts. I spoke to Richard Branson as well. And everybody says that is now going to stay. Yeah.
I have a video where Richard Branson talks on our website, christiantraders.com, and he's quite bullish. And
yes.
He has a habit of getting things right. Peter Thiel, he says that everyone has totally underestimated where this is going. And I read an article yesterday that, now, I'm, of course, a believer, but this really solidified things for me. The millennials, which is the younger folks, they don't know a world without the internet. Now, people like myself of an older generation, we like to have our money in our front pocket, where we can reach down and touch it. But this younger generation who grew up with the internet, at 3 and 4 years old, they had a tablet in their hand and all those kinds of things. They are putting their money not in bonds, not in the stock market. They're buying cryptocurrency because for them it seems like a natural thing to do. And that will fuel this thing for many years to come, not to mention the fact that so many banks and financial institutions are already embracing this. Now, we built our cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain, so we're ERC20 compliant. What's your thoughts on the difference? Maybe you could, in simple words, tell our audience what's the difference between the Bitcoin blockchain and the Ethereum blockchain.
Well, I think it is the Bitcoin is like gold. It's a standard, It's a reserve, if I could say that in that word. And Ethereum is a new platform that allows you to build. You know it better than myself. Ethereum platform allows you to create, smart contracts and et cetera, et cetera. So in a simple way, I think Bitcoin is #1 currency. Ethereum is a #2 currency in the industry. So that's it in a simple way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when we made the decision which way to go, I did research on what the banks and the financial institutions seem to be favoring. And because Ethereum can be used not only as a store of value, but also as a pick and an axe, we went in that direction. And that's why I think so many fintech companies are embracing Ethereum. And many people have said that someday Ethereum will surpass the price of Bitcoin. I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but I feel comfortable that that's the platform we chose to build on.
Yeah. Well, all of the ICOs that we were involved in, all of the projects, they prefer Ethereum as well.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yes. All of the projects that we are involved, they prefer Ethereum, and then they convert the Ethereums to blockchain. So the blockchain, I would say, is at the top of everything.
Sure.
And then there's another, Ethereum and et cetera, et cetera.
Now, when it comes to security, and again, you say you're not an investor, but you're the nuts and bolts guy, but maybe you can answer this question. If a person wants to buy Bitcoin, now we've used Coinbase in the past, what do you think the safest way is to buy, and then the safest way to secure it once you've bought it?
So I'll tell you what I do. I also buy it on Coinbase and then transfer it to my own wallet.
Okay.
So this is what I do, and to me this is the safest way, not to store it on Coinbase, but to transfer it to your own wallet.
But isn't there another step where you can actually put it on a hardware wallet?
Yes, you can. This is I guess this is more of an extreme, like a very secure way, but I don't do that. I know a lot of people buy a hardware to store all of their Bitcoins on a small hardware. I personally never done it, but I think having it on your own wallet is pretty secure as well.
Do you? Okay. Now, I've used my Ether wallet. Do you think that's a pretty good wallet?
I think it is, yes.
Okay.
Have you had any problems with them? And how long have you been using it?
I've had zero problems. I've been using it now for a couple months. However, what I plan to do, there's a company out of France that creates a hardware wallet called the Nano S, and it will hold both Bitcoin and ERC-20 compliant tokens. And I'm working on a distributorship with them. They have an affiliate distributorship program, but because they're in France and I'm in Arizona, I'm asleep, they're awake, that kind of thing. I'm going to do an interview with them in the coming days, and if we put together an agreement, fine. If we don't, I'm still going to recommend to our audience and to our members the Nano S, because it's the best hardware wallet I've found in my own research. So I'll recommend that until I find something that's possibly better. But I like the fact that you're comfortable holding some online. What about the hackers? I mean, we know that hackers love to go after the Bitcoin. Why is your wallet safer than the exchange, for instance?
Well, it's a difficult question. We all know that some of these, exchanges been hacked, and the wallets have been hacked as well. There's no 100%, except like I guess the hardware would be the safest one. 100%, like it would be the safest one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that my preference. I don't have too many Bitcoins, so I'm not afraid of probably my investment would be around like 20 and 30 Bitcoins, and I'm okay storing it with my wallet, and not really okay storing it with a Coinbase. So if I had like millions of dollars of investments, probably I would take it to the next level and consider a more secure way. So it's just my personal preference.
Well, that's kind of what I've recommended to the audience. Get a hardware wallet for the bulk of your cryptocurrency wealth.
Yes.
And then keep a wallet online like my Ether wallet, because a man needs a little walking around money, right? You're out on the internet, you want to spend something, buy something, whatever the case might be. You've got a wallet online that you can spend out of, but the bulk of your wealth is offline and in a safe, in the wall, hidden behind the picture of Jesus. That's how I've told him to do it.
That's good. Yeah.
According to the initial email I got from you guys, you've developed quite a Rolodex of contacts in this industry.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would love if
we're now talking to the Gibraltar. Yeah, we're now talking to the Gibraltar, and so it became really quickly. Like 2016, 2017, we started getting a lot of, especially 2016, a lot of leads, and from there we start growing our network, and we spoke to Gibraltar and government recently. They're heavily involved with the cryptocurrency blockchain. We have spoken to a CIO of GE. She has been in the industry since 2011. We have my colleague Ron recently spoke to guys whose investors are Eric Smith. We talk to people from the industry, to 4 to 5 people every single day, and the network we've been doing it for the past year, and for the past 3-4 months it's been literally 4 to 5 leads every single day. So obviously the network has expanded. We actually want to do an event. We're planning to do an event maybe sometime in April or May, and for 200 to 300 people, and it's going to be like something like a red carpet event, very exclusive VIP event for the guys from the industry.
Yeah, will my ticket be at the will call window? Is that where I pick up my ticket?
You're gonna take. You're definitely going to be invited for the event.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Did you see the news yesterday about Square?
No, I haven't.
Jack Dorsey of Twitter fame and Square fame. I mean, Square. What an incredible little square that is. It allows people having a yard sale to accept Visa and MasterCard, which, by the way, is not a good idea, because people will come and buy stuff at your yard sale, and then they will create a chargeback. So, but anyway, it used to be very difficult to become a merchant who could accept Visa and MasterCard. There was a lot of hoops to jump through. Square comes along and just turns the industry on its head. The little device, you stick it into the headphone jack. Oh, I haven't thought about that. The new iPhones don't have a headphone jack. And you just swipe the card. Well, they announced yesterday that Jack Dorsey's other company, Square, introduced a feature to buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin in its Square Cash app Forbes reported, and their stock jumped 5% yesterday.
That's amazing. It's really interesting.
Now, they only rolled it out to a few of their users, and everybody's clamoring to get their hands on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I should check that.
Yeah. Check out Square, and
yeah,
it's. I mean, I loved it when it was just Square, but now that, I mean, IBM, everyone is embracing blockchain. IBM is going to use blockchain for their marijuana distribution. Whoever thought Big Blue would be involved with something like cryptocurrency and pot? I mean, but here it is. Wake up, Dwayne. It's 2017. And the world has never been the same.
Yeah, the world is not going to be the same again. 2017 just proved us. And, yeah, people are embracing it. And I guess, like, I can't even imagine what's going to happen in 2 to 3 years. You know, within the 2016 and 2017, you know, so many things happen in a couple of years. We now have ICOs. We now have, you know, different currencies. You know, people are making money in this industry. So it's so interesting. It's wild west. It's internet of 95. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say 92, but I'll go with 95.
No, 92. Yeah.
The Chicago Mercantile Exchange in December will be rolling out a Bitcoin futures contract. That will be probably the hugest stamp of approval and acceptance that the world has seen. The Chicago Board of Options are going to do an options contract on Bitcoin. And the SEC is revisiting the application from the Winklevoss twins. They were originally turned down to do a Bitcoin ETF, but the SEC said because of what the CME and the Chicago Board of Options has done, we're going to go revisit that, and I got a feeling they're going to get approved. And that will put Bitcoin within the reach of every person on planet Earth. And I think it was Peter Thiel who said, you'll see increased interest once we pass the $5,000 mark, and once we pass the $10,000 mark, everybody will be piling in. So, exciting times to be alive, exciting times to be a trader.
Absolutely. I agree with you. It is so exciting. There's such a high demand for you know, I can talk about the technical parts for the statistics as of today. Now, for one blockchain developer, for one smart contract developer, there are 30 applications. So there's not enough developers out there. The demand is extraordinary, and it's I don't know. I think it's the best time to be in the industry.
If a computer literate individual who doesn't know anything about coding or programming wanted to find work in this field, is there a direction you would point them in, or a course you would tell them to take, or a language they should learn? Well, the first thing, if they're not developers, it would be a little bit difficult to get into the industry, because it's pretty sophisticated. You need pretty sophisticated skills. I have 17 years of experience in building products, and it took me some time to understand it. So and my developers as well. But if you're a developer, then you probably need 2 to 3 months to understand the concept, and a couple of projects to get used to, to understand how things work. There's literally no developers out there with more than 2 years of experience, because the industry is very new. You will rarely find people with 2 years of experience. Most of them are 1 year, year and a half, and it's already considered to be a good developer. But if you're not a developer, the best thing I would suggest just to
go and read about the blockchain and understand the concept and how it works, and find out some of the frameworks and study them. If you are a developer, do the same thing, like understand the concept of blockchain, try to get a job, a real product, real development work in blockchain, and it should take from 3 to 6 months to, and you'll be okay.
Okay. All right, so you say this big event that you guys are holding will be when, in April, you think?
Sometime in April. We're yet to decide the venue and the dates. So we recently co-organized the Synergy Global. We had 5,000 people attending to Madison Square Garden venue, and that's when we decided, we actually need to do something for blockchain, because a lot of people came there and they were interested in blockchain, and so we decided, wow, why don't we do a blockchain event? And but we want to, we don't want to invite everybody. We just want to make it small so that people could network with each other. And we're now planning to bring government officials, funds, press, development companies, and people who are, in the industry. Allow them to network for it's going to be a 2-day event. Allow them to network. And, this is what we're planning to do.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So please make sure you get me in the Rolodex. And
I will.
You did say that this project you're currently working on for the publicly traded company, that'll be done in a couple of weeks?
That's correct. Yeah, it should be completed in a couple of weeks. We're now testing the project, and hopefully it should be ready within a couple of weeks.
Okay, can you come back on the show and talk to us about that project once it's completed?
Yes, absolutely. Once we finish it, there will be a press release, and then I would be able to talk about it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and share information with us. I hope we forged a friendship here between CFRN, your company, ChristianTraders.com, and we would love to have you back on the show here in a couple of weeks after that press release comes out, and we'll continue to talk to you right up to the big event next spring.
That's good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And anytime there's a breaking development, big news, something you want to share with the world, get a hold of me. I'll bring you on live before our global audience, and we'll get the word out for you.
We'll do so. Thank you very much. And
Thank you
have a
so
great
much.
day.
You have a great day, too. Thanks. Bye-bye. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. One of the industry experts who's involved not so much in the financial side, but in the nuts and bolts side. He's not out digging for gold. He's selling the axes of the picks. And they say the guy selling the picks and axes during the days of the gold rush actually made more money than the gold miners. Now, I don't know that that's how this will play out, but it's certainly something to think about. Okay, Ed Khoury will be joining us momentarily. Somebody give me an X in the chat box, please. I don't know if I gave you the name of Bobir's company. It's TheRealStart.com. TheRealStart, all one word, .com. In fact, I'll put a link in the chat box here as soon as it opens. Still waiting on that X in the chat box. Looks like I'm going to be waiting for a while. Or maybe, oh, there we go. I was going to say maybe my chat box is broken. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate that. Okay, John's going to be joining us. Also, Ed Khoury is going to be joining us. I had to push him back 15 minutes so that we could get through the interview, but he should be on the scene momentarily. Oh, there's John. Hey, John, welcome to the show. John's not here, man. Okay. Stand by. Let me do what I do. I hit this. It rings. He comes to the mic. Okay, John, whenever you're ready, just pop on in. All right, guys, S&P made a nice climb last night. The concierge trade alert said to consider buying 2581 on the S&P, and we've made it up to 2587, so a nice 6-point move in the S&P. John, how are you?
Pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yes. I kept looking over to the other monitor to see if you were there because I wanted to invite you to join the conversation I was having with Bobir, but I had it scrolled funny and I don't know if you were there or not.
No, I was there off and on.
Oh, okay.
One of the questions I wanted to ask is, did you ask him, or have you been discussing what the difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin itself?
No, I didn't ask him that. I did ask him the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and he sided with me. That bit. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, yeah, I wish I had asked him that. There's also Bitcoin Gold.
Yeah, that could be interesting too. I think the gold is getting ready for a move. It's not giving up much ground here. It got down to about 1275, 1276 last night, and the silver is actually performing better today. Having gone up to 20 yesterday, it's back to, after being down at 95, it's back to 208. Excuse me, 09, and the platinum's picking up a bit too, and so is the palladium actually after a pullback. So I would say the gold, the metals, if we start picking up above 1282.3, we could have another run up towards the highs. The nugget is acting better. But these gold stocks are having trouble getting out of the starting gate. They really, they kind of rally and then they sell off. And Royal Gold has been underperforming, which it's hard to get the nugget going without Royal Gold on board. Newmont is probably the best looking stock in terms of leadership of the early signs of a breakout, but given the strength of this market today, I mean, remember what we said months ago about the power of this tax cut and how, actually passing the tax cut could result in an acceleration to the upside. This is what we're seeing today. Because, I mean, right, the way the market's acting right now, it's kind of telling us that this is going to happen. They're going to pass this deal. And I'm kind of pleased that they're going to get rid of this mandate as part of it, if they haven't changed that. Because
which mandate?
I think this Obamacare mandate, robbing the poor.
Oh, gotcha.
Robbing the poor people who can't afford insurance is just an absolute disgrace. I mean, I can't believe. It just shows you the caliber of the Democrats, that they go for something like that and they keep quiet about it. I mean, it's an absolute ripoff. No other word for it. You think of all the poor people, having trouble putting a few $100 together, have to actually be penalized and pay that. It's just a disgrace.
John, the premium for my wife and I for compliant insurance, $2,400 a month, more than
insane.
most people's mortgage.
Right.
It's
rent.
It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal, is what it is.
Yeah.
Arizona is one of the worst states, and I I just don't know how people deal with it. We took some lesser insurance, non-compliant. It still costs $800, but then we're going to have to pay a penalty, you know. But it don't grow on trees, so
Sure.
doing the best we can.
Yeah, no, the market is, look, as a matter of fact, just to give you a little bit of a recap, the market sold off into the close yesterday on the Trump speech, and I honestly thought it would turn a little bit more, like before the close, but it really rallied in the last few minutes, and we went 100% at 180. We did a total 180 from being short to long, and I actually said that I thought the market would rally overnight, and it really acted tremendously overnight, which I'm sure you were able to pick up very well.
Well, we didn't get long. Our concierge trade alert was to get long at 25.81 because I saw some turbulence. I'd like to have been in sooner, but I would rather get a little bit of something than a whole lot of nothing. You know what I mean? So
sure. Well,
still we're up 6 3/4 points on that move so far.
Yeah. And look, it's been very difficult to. I mean, actually, there was part of the reasoning I had for that I thought we'd get a reversal is the VIXs kind of rallied late yesterday, and remember the day before they sold off, and then they opened like a point higher. So that was a bit of a giveaway that maybe it might do the opposite, and that's exactly what happened last night. The VIXs opened down about a point. So, but the rally was very strong during the night, and all the world markets came back, and it just shows you with the power of this bull market. I mean, this is a meteoric bull market of monumental proportions, and look at the SOX. I think the SOX is probably making new highs again today already. It's very. Hang on a sec.
On the NASDAQ, we had buy 62.82, and that thing's at 63.53.
Yeah, no, phenomenal. We were long down there as well.
So from 82, that's about $7. That's about a $1,400.
Yeah, we're not quite at an all-time high yet on this SOX, but it could actually gap higher and tomorrow, and look, rallying on a Thursday, going into the end of the week, and also to be rallying mid-November on a Friday if we extend this into tomorrow. It's pretty epic. It's a pretty big deal. And usually when we get to 200 points up on the Dow on a day like today, I'd say the odds are fairly high now. We'll go to 250 or 300 before the day's out. These stocks are really look. The drug stocks are still not. They're better today. They were 67 yesterday on the LABU. They're 70 and a half right now. So we're seeing a pretty good rebound. But this is a really, really, really strong rally going on here today. And I think one of the reasons is there's a lot of people short. I think a lot of people went short in the last week, thinking that they were going to make a fortune, and they're getting their heads handed to them today. And this. Gottman came out yesterday. I actually made a comment about it, sort of saying bear market confirmed, or something like that, which is probably that's probably a buy signal. And somebody else came out, this Hussman guy as well. He's been a perennial bear, and he was talking about the Titanic and what's the name of the thing that crashed in New Jersey.
The Hindenburg? No?
What's the name of that? The Hindenburg, yeah, the Hindenburg, the Hindenburg indicator.
I've heard. That indicator. I forget how it works, but I remember. Is that in play again right now? The Hindenburg.
It was sort of flashed past.
Mike Reed knows quite a bit about that. I think he's the one who taught me about it.
Yeah, anyhow, that was mentioned yesterday, so it just shows you. This is an awesome rally. Unfortunately, our system went down this morning. I was following some of these small stocks, and I put some symbol in, and I went to a gray scheme. This is my new system, and it unfortunately I missed some of this rally because of it. But just one of those things. It's unfortunate.
Ed Corey's here today. I'm going to open his mic so you guys can chat for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Ed, stand by. Ed, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Got John here with us. Thought you guys might want to chat a minute.
Hello, Ed.
Sure. How you doing, John?
Well, pretty good. It was interesting the last couple of days, the way they hammered the oil, the products and the oil down, but it looks like they're not wanting to go much lower right here. So yeah, I guess if anything more positive comes out, or it gets colder, they could be on their way back up again, I'd say.
Yeah.
And the natural gas has been phenomenal, the way it's been trading too.
I think it's a sleeper, John.
Yeah, no, I think gas is going to it's going to be gas's year, gas's winter. I think it's really going to be a big performer, because as you know, the inventories are really, I don't know whether they're record lows, they're certainly at major lows, and they have not been able to replenish the inventories during the summer. And so if we start losing 250 million cubic feet per week, like we normally do during the winter, that could really, really get the gas going a lot higher.
Right. I think you're right. And then if you look at the subsea temperatures when they do the La Nina.
Ed, can you come a little closer to your mic?
Let me see, Dwayne. I had trouble the last time with this silly thing. That's almost in my mouth. But
okay. Well, that sounds a little better.
Maybe I need to get another headset. Really, I'm not going to do it right now. It won't work if I go get it. But
don't blow money on the expensive one, no matter what the flashy package says.
I know I've done that before, and it didn't work on the program, and I thought I spent the money to get a good one. It didn't make a difference. A cheap one worked better.
Yep.
Is this okay?
Perfect. That was perfect right there.
Okay. Yeah, John. These guys follow this La Nina El Nino thing, and the El Nino gives you a warmer winter, and the La Nina gives you a cold winter. And this thing was swinging to an El Nino, and it switched. In October, it started swinging back to the La Nina, which is now the favorite near-term aspect, and that should make the winter potentially really cold. And if it does that, heating oil's ready well to take the lead in the complex and pull everything with it if we start to see the demand kick up. So you're right. You're right on that.
I think that it's almost like a sixth sense, the heating oils, it's a long time since I've seen a heating oil lead the markets higher like it's been doing this year. It's kind of amazing, actually, and I think I agree with you. That's probably a very bullish indicator. Look at that. By the way, look at the orange juice too. Orange juice is up to a new high today.
Gosh, I haven't been looking at it for a couple of years. I used to look at it, and I even traded it before, but I haven't looked at it. It's been too busy. So yeah, it's been looking good too, huh?
That cold snap we had the other day. No, normally they'd pull back. It didn't pull back much, and now it's making new highs. Remember, this time you got half the crop is being wiped out by the hurricane, so it's very vulnerable to. I would say it's got to be very, very vulnerable to a frost, to an early frost, and because if they get an early frost, it'll destroy a lot of the fruit, even the fruit that's coming on right now, and it'll be useless. So because I remember some years ago, there was a freeze, and they were trying to sell this stuff in the supermarkets, and it really wasn't very good. It was kind of frost damage.
Right.
Some of it.
Right. Right, I think they got something going on in Florida, I know, with the grapefruit crop, because when I mentioned to you, I was down in the valley and talking with, it used to be one of the citrus associations down there because I had a grove, and the guys told me, I'm not in that business anymore, but the guys told me that they're reaping tons of money off the grapefruit in the Texas Rio Grande Valley now, because Texas and Arizona and California have blocked all shipments of grapefruit from Florida into their states, because Florida has some kind of bug in the grapefruit that they don't want brought into the states. At least that's their excuse. I think there's probably something to it, since the 3 big states did it that are producing.
Yeah.
So that would make it even a hotter commodity. I'll start looking at it again. Maybe I should. There's been so many things to watch lately that have been moving like crazy.
Yeah, no, these markets, they're the best markets we've ever seen. There's never been markets like this. Yeah,
they're very opportunistic. You're right. And then you add Bitcoin to the mix, which I've been starting to look at and try and get involved with, but I'm still pretty much a novice, except I can read the charts. And I mean, what are you going to say about it? You know, it'll have these big swings that we see in it are just commonplace. When you look at the trend on a longer term basis, it looks like it's going to the moon. And that's how strong markets look. And like you said, the bull market in the stock market, it doesn't correct when it should correct. The additional technical indicators that would say you're going to have a decent sized sell-off don't ever seem to come to fruition, because the underlying trend of the money coming into the market is so big, it really doesn't much matter right now. You have to really scare a lot of people to make the market fall apart.
You know, I mean, I was just looking at some of these new highs going on today, and this literally a couple of months ago, a guy was asking me how to get exposed to the housing sector, and I came up with this triple ETF called Nail, and this was probably late August, early September. Take a look at the chart. This Nail's made a new all-time high today. It was at 45 when I talked to this guy, and it's 70.
What is the symbol, John?
NAIL.
Nail, just what it sounds like.
Right. It's just hit 75.5 today.
Wow.
76.5. Yeah. From 45 just a couple of months ago.
Wow.
So I mean, imagine the wealth that's, you know, it's not just the market indices, but a lot of these stocks are making all-time highs, just incredibly. You know, there's looked at some others this morning.
There's a daily chart of Nail right there.
For some reason, I can't get it.
There's another one that's kind of Valero. Check out Valero. Son of a gun.
Symbol.
VLO. Sorry. That's a stealth bull market if ever there was one. Look at the way that thing took off.
Yeah, they're making good money.
For some reason, okay, there it goes. Valero Energy. Wow.
Yeah.
Quite a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really have a pretty good lock on the refining market in the United States. They are really strong. They're the largest, I think, U.S. refiner now. They've went out and bought all kinds of refineries over the last several years. They bought the company I used to work for when I was in the business. And now they've done a good job. They hung around long enough when all the refinery margin got squeezed, and they came in and they started buying. They were right on their first ones, and the banks loaned them all the money they wanted. They gobbled up all these independent refiners. Some of them pretty big, and now they really have a great portfolio there. You know, but they are subject to swings too. But that thing's been a good stock, and it really has been a buy on significant dips for years.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure we mentioned this on the show yesterday, but I remember talking to somebody about it. the Apple, remember we got this sort of island top. It did gap down, but it was giving a buy. I think I actually mentioned it on the show yesterday. It looked like it was giving a developing buy, and so with the fact that it's rallied today, it's kind of negated that island top, at least for the time being. So, and that's the same with a lot of these stocks that were looking a little bit vulnerable here going into yesterday.
Yeah.
That have now kind of turned around. And as we've seen before, you know, this is just day one of the rally. When you get a rally this strong off the lows, it tends to have legs. So, and we're not that far away from Thanksgiving now, so we should get and look, we get a rally. Either we get a rally into Thanksgiving, that's pretty traditional.
Right.
Almost always the day after Thanksgiving, the monster move, because I'd say this year is going to be a record.
Records seem to come every week, don't they?
Yeah.
Have you guys saw this? Have you seen this headline today? The White House is being warned North Korea is planning a devastating EMP attack on America.
Yeah, who warned them?
Well, you know, I haven't chased it down. I'll do that right now. And see
No, that's okay. I hadn't heard that. Yeah, but
well, I was thinking, you know what, I was already thinking about that before this news came out today, because a few of these leftists are talking about taking the nuclear option away from Trump, or for a preemptive strike, which is, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, what are you going to say when half the country gets wiped out by an EMP blast?
they would be glad because they think we're overpopulated on Earth. That's right up their alley.
Yeah. So, you know, this is very dangerous stuff.
It's real dangerous, and they really don't have a way to do that. And I think if it comes down to it, we got a guy in the White House who, even if they think they do, he'll do what he needs to do.
Yeah,
but I just hope he can hold in there. You know, I mean, he brings a lot of stuff upon himself, but I don't know. He's the only guy in Washington right now, I think, that cares about individual freedom and individual rights. They want to give you group rights if you think like them and act like them and do like them, but they don't like individuals being free to make their own decisions.
Okay, it's high noon in Deadwood. Everyone clears the streets. Two men step into the street, one at each end. One's Donald Trump, one's the nut from North Korea. And they start slowly walking towards each other. Who wins? That's a question.
That's a question? Who wins?
Yeah, it's a shootout. High noon. Trump and Kim.
Well, I don't think it's a contest, really. It's just a matter of whether they can, you know, whether we have enough restraint not to do anything early, but then how much risk does Trump have to take? Does he have to wait till thousands or hundreds of thousands of lives
that's what used
to
that's what used to aggravate the heck out of me when my wife and I ran Cassie's house, which was a home for battered women and abused children. We would try to get the police to take action, and they would say, well, you know, until someone is hurt, you know, we can't really do anything. Oh, so we got to wait for him to shoot her or stab her, and then you'll take action. And they're like, well, we don't like it either, but that's the law. And it was originally called Safe Harbor, but it became Cassie's house because Cassie was shot by her mother's boyfriend, who also shot her mother, but the mother survived.
Oh boy!
And the police did do their job, and I think I don't know if he was the last, but he died in the electric chair here in Arizona, or on the table, however they do it. I don't even know how they do it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fighting a losing battle. I mean, because let's not even go down that road because this is not a show about domestic violence, although it could be. But anyway, just using that.
Well,
as an
you were
example.
that close to it, you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have memories there that are gonna, always be with you and
No, the lack
motivate you.
The reason vigilante squads are formed is because the law often ties the hands of the officers of the law.
Right. And
So
certainly we had Washington tying the hands for a long time, and they still are to some degree.
oh my God! And now they're just freaking out because old man Bush squeezed ladies. I don't mean the offense, but he shouldn't have squeezed her. He shouldn't have touched her. I know that. But really, I mean, isn't he in a wheelchair now? I mean, do we need to put him through this? Maybe we do. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a craze. The media's having a ball with it.
Oh my goodness, they're just going.
they're-
And again, I'm 100% against it. I think it's wrong. I would hope that I would never do it. I never have. I hope I never would. And I wouldn't tolerate anyone in my employment who did.
Right.
But
Right.
But I mean, come on.
Well, it's another way to it'll get to the point where innocent people are being accused of stuff, and it gets to that point before everybody's had enough.
What's the guy's
But
name?
it-
Spacey. He got
The actor.
fired. And
Kevin,
the actor.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Now I would have
Kevin
thought that guy was as straight an arrow as they come. That's just the impression I had of him from TV, from movies, from whatnot. But as soon as he got accused, he goes, "Yep, guilty. Sorry." And
Well, some of these guys, I'm not going to judge anybody, but I'm going to say the culture out there is obnoxious. It always has been.
oh yeah,
Anybody who's been out there has pretty much seen it, been exploited, or attempted to have been exploited. It's the way it works, and that's why we have, the shows we have. And I'm not to say everybody's bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the culture out there, it changes people, just like the culture in Washington D.C. changes. Good, abiding people that get elected, that go there to do something happens to them up there, and not all of them, but I'd say 80% of them.
Ed, I just pushed you the charts.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got a question here from Mike B. I've been waiting for months for corn to come down. Do Ed or John, either one, have any thoughts on corn?
John, I haven't looked at corn in a year. You want it?
yeah, it's actually gone down. It's kind of hitting new lows, I think. Yeah, it's. The problem is, the wheat ran up and it looked good, and now it's coming back. So I think you gotta. The grains just aren't ready to go yet. It's with the corn making lower low. I wouldn't be buying it yet. I'd buy it if it got above. If it made a full weekly reversal here, then that would probably get me going. But right now, I wouldn't touch it.
Well, I don't have anything to add to that because I don't even have it on my charts. The agricultural markets are particularly tricky. I think the farmers are some of the guys actually producing this stuff are really good futures traders.
Mm-hmm.
To speculate with, if you're on the wrong side of them, it's hard to make money in that market. Those guys are old and they've been around for a long time, and it's really funny because I knew some of them. And
the wheat. Look, if you look at the weekly on the wheat, it is actually looking like it could be a bottom here. So you have to watch the wheat really carefully. I'd say be a buy above 424, 425 right now. Because it has been each dip has been bought on the wheat for the last few weeks now, and it is putting in the bottom. And look, corn could turn. I mean, when I say I wouldn't buy it this exact minute, you know, if it started showing signs of running, I'd probably jump on board just in anticipation of a possible bottom. So I think Mike's pretty good at calling these bottoms. So I think I'd pay attention to it.
Well, yeah, just off zero fundamental knowledge on it. It looks like it's basing down here, John. If it makes a new low, it's probably going to be it. If it doesn't really need to do that. So
exactly.
It
well,
does
you know,
look like basing action.
Yeah. The fact that the wheat hasn't made a new low in several weeks is important. You know, it's considered. So we're getting a little bit of a buy on the VIXs here right now. We actually put some buy stops out a little bit lower down, and we're just kicking in on selling out, and the Nasdaq's coming off now. So we'll see, but unless some sort of disaster happens here, you're probably going to get a bit of a pullback, and that might be an opportunity to rebuy ahead of another rally into the close.
It most likely will be. I agree. The thing with the S&P is, you know, you really the trend has been so strong. You really need to make it prove to you that it's going to change trend. You're going to have a real, unless you're scalping and day trading, you're okay. But if you're trying to pick, you know, pick an interim or longer term top, good luck. Those guys have lost so much money trying to do that for years. Don't join them. That's all I'll say. Don't join them until you see it break certain levels for you that confirm this shouldn't be doing that. You know, if it's going to go up. And what are those levels? So that's just the way I would look at it. Well, let me zip through on the crude here.
All right.
And looking at the daily chart in crude, crude was in on the daily chart. It's been in wave 5 up until this last leg, and this last leg extended beyond what was the third leg up. Measurement wise, magnitude wise, it got too big and it became the biggest wave in the daily chart. So thus we are in a wave 3 up and in WTI crude, which is really, really amazing that they were able to get it this far to extend that. So, I mean, we were looking for it. I know you've been bullish on it, John. I've been really bullish on it since it got down to, when it spiked down in the 45s. I should keep buying these spikes down in the mid 40s. Because every one of them was holding. And, you know, we're still, when we break this move down here on an intraday basis on the 500-minute chart, it's just a wave 4 pullback on that. So the third wave isn't complete on the daily chart. And when I look at this, you know, this will bother me if we break the 618 down here, let's say at 53.50. I wouldn't want to see the market close under that. But barring that, this has been a little slow for me to turn around and come back up, but it still hasn't done anything to really do anything about the wave 5 projections based on the magnitude of the fourth wave down. The nearest one is 59.13. If we can take that out decisively, we'll then target the 61.85 number. Whether we get there or not, I don't know, but the odds are good if this is the bottom of wave 4 that we're going to see $59 here in crude. And this is, let me say this October, November time frame is usually one of the most bearish cyclical times of the year for the energy market. Okay? This is usually when you get a really nice move down. And it's done nothing but go up since October into, you know, November, which is totally counter seasonal, which means there's a bigger force underlying the market here now. The potential supply disruptions are increasing. The Venezuelan situation, they could quit producing overnight. There's quite a bit going on in Libya, and there's other things in the Middle East and skirmishes that could kick into bigger problems. So yeah, in light of that, you have to really respect the charts right now. This move down here is shaking some folks out. You know, it's a decent move down, And it's certainly shaken a few folks out of here, but not in the magnitude that would change the trend. So far, you know, I like the way the crude looks. I think it will turn back up. I would like to do it sometime this week, though. It would look more comfortable to me. The daily chart, here we are on the S&P, still in wave 3 up. I mean, pretty amazing. We look like we've completed a 5-way move on the longer intraday chart, but this ABC down looks like all we were going to get based on the way it's come back up. So if we're looking for more of a correction here, we're probably not going to get it, because when we took out today, when we took out this 618 retracement here, that's enough for me to tilt the odds in favor of we're starting another move up and a new move up to new highs from this point. There's that current count off the low. We're still in the 17-minute chart. We're still in wave 3 up. So we've got a ways to go. Quite a ways to go. We're going to make new record highs probably in this third wave. We could easily do it on this little chart. So, I mean, look at the market here. It's not backing off. You know, it's backed off some. But it seems like there's a wave of money that comes in at the end of the day, no matter how negative the day's been, to buy the market. Do you see that?
That's what I was counting on last night. That's what kind of gave me the idea that, you know, I think the, whatever it is, the plunge protection team, you know, team. But look, a lot of times, you know, we were sort of 20 to 4, and the market looks like, you know, it's selling off, and then next thing you know, it rallies into the close, and that's happened a lot, an awful lot. And of course, another thing is right after the 4 o'clock close, you got that time. You know, you got the next 15 minutes, and then you've got after 4:30, you got another 40 minutes of trading.
Yeah,
where they can do a lot. You know, they can manipulate the heck out of this, and
they seem to do that, don't they? Yeah, that's when they make up for it with low volume. Yeah. They could go in there and jam it some more. Right.
Yeah, I also believe that they're been using the VIXs because they're leveraged, and also if you look at the SPXY and the XIV, you know, when those things are going higher, a lot of times the market can be selling off and they're still going higher, and you're sort of scratching your head and saying, what's going on? I think that's what's happening. They have those things. You know, they're very powerful leading indicators of the market. Those things. You know, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if the XIV is rallying, it probably means the market's going to go higher. You know, within hours or days.
Yeah. And it seems like more and more people are starting to watch it too. So it's kind of like a rolling snowball, you know. It's picking up momentum on the following too.
Right, and you know, like ever since ever since we've broken above 100 on both the SPXY and the XIV. This is, I mean, that's what really from sort of 80 to the 115 or so on the XIV is what has really powered this last rally. And the thing is, you know, once you start getting over 100 on these stocks, you know, they tend to go. I mean, they can go. Most of the time, they go to 120, and sometimes they go to 140 and well beyond. You know, so you can't just call a top on these things. It's really dangerous.
Yeah, really, it is. It's dangerous, and I think it's a good way to go out of business. I mean, right now it is. This trend is stronger than anything we've seen. On the gold market, it's pretty unremarkable to me. I'm still waiting for the 5th wave up on the longer term chart. I know we'll be in that 5th wave when we break over this 1377 here, because this was a 5-wave move up off what was marked a wave 4 low. This is a pretty steep pullback, but it's gold. It always tends to overextend. And now we're trying, you know, this isn't bullish yet, but when we break over this level, it would more than likely be this being wave 1 up of wave 5 up that has projections in here over $2,000, $2,700. You got a couple of them up there, and you got more above. But once we break above this point, we should really accelerate in a big way, and people will start to believe that we're entering the third wave up of wave 5 up here in gold. Now, when they see that, there's going to be buying above that level. There's going to be a lot of, I believe, central banks selling in front of that level. I don't think they want to see it go. But the other thing is the chaos traders, those that trade for chaos and you know, try and capitalize on that. A lot of them are moving to Bitcoin, and they can't help but be looking at it if they got eyes, because it's moving so much. So, you know, I think that's
the futures contract.
Gold is so calm.
CME's bringing out the futures contract. They say second week of December.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Dwayne? I saw that Gain Capital is going to have it.
It's the hugest stamp of approval it could possibly have, and also the Chicago Board of Options is going to do an options contract.
Well, that's going to be fun, because I've been waiting for. There's no way to do the options on it. You know, I've got a couple things going on in the stock market with it. You know, they have some of these hybrid things in there, but they're not real well known, and they're not real liquid. But I got in some of those. I haven't done the wallet thing or anything yet, but I need to, because there's some smaller, cheaper cryptocurrencies I want to buy. But let me just jump on this thing and say, so I'm not spending a lot of time on gold. I want to see it break out. I do have some gold call options, and you know, I usually maintain those and have for years like a fool, all the way up, all the way down. But I did get rid of some of my stuff up here when I saw this break right here. I didn't get out any earlier than that, but I was in way back early on the move. So I'm still net up, and nothing hasn't done much for me lately. But certainly got an interest in it. Natural gas, real quick here. Natural gas finally came to life. We were talking about it earlier. John and I were talking about this thing, and I think there's real potential here to see a big move in this market. All we need is a little bit of winter, and this move pulling back right now, it kind of looks like crude. Had a nice big move up. It's pulling back for wave 4. Hasn't breached any levels that would bother me yet. I don't want to see it close under 299, but as long as it doesn't close under 299, I consider this a base and a wave 4 pullback that should go on to new highs, currently projected here at 336 and 356, which is a really big move, guys. So from where we are. So I've got my eye on this. I haven't jumped back in it yet. I'm just looking for the right time, and I thought I would get it today. I'm a little disappointed that it didn't perform today. They had a little bigger pull down than they were expected on the storage draw. So, and I'm going to jump over and say, let me see. After complaining enough, I finally got this CQG to start carrying this thing. And it's the Bitcoin real-time index that tracks the Bitcoin price. And it does a pretty good job of it. But when you look at this, I think it's important to know, if you go back and look at Bitcoin, when it first came out in 2010, July 2010, it was trading between 5 and 10 cents. I think it got as low as 3 cents one time. But you had a year to buy it. You could have bought the thing for 5 cents to 10 cents per coin. I'm going to say this because it's just staggering to me when I did the numbers on it. If you did buy it at 5 cents and you put $1,000 in it, at $7,300, of which it's over now, I just did this when it was $7,300, you'd have $146 million.
That's right.
With your $1,000.
I get nauseous and throw up at least once a day over that.
Huh? You what?
I get nauseous and throw up over that at least once a day.
Well, you know, I was too cautious about it, but I never really liked to get into anything I couldn't understand, and I have to admit I didn't understand it, especially then. I know a little bit more about it now, but even now, you know, you don't know at the time when things are like that. This is like when, you know, gold and silver were worth hardly anything too. But this is a remarkable move, and you know, you have to sit there and this is what I decided a few months ago. I have to learn this market. I absolutely have to learn it, whether it's fictitious, whether it's really volatile or not. I have to learn it, because where am I going to get the opportunity to multiply money like that anywhere? I mean, I'd have to be in the stock market since you know, the earth was created, I guess, to even have a chance to get that kind of multiple return. Any kind of market that can move this much this fast is worth looking at. It's not necessarily worth trading, but if you're day trading, if you're just scalping, if you're just going to try and find a system to make it work, I think this is one to be looked at. Okay, I'm looking at it real seriously. I'm in a little bit, not much, but enough to learn, and that's the way I learn. I've gotten in risky stuff before and lost all my money, and that's okay, because I knew going in that was what I was willing to risk to learn it. And you know, sometimes to learn the markets, you have to put your hide in there, a little bit of it, you know, whatever doesn't bother you to lose, and see how it works. So I'm going to learn this market, Dwayne. I've already got my highs and lows on it. That red line underneath there is the predicted low for the month, and as long as it stays above that on a closing basis, and this thing's bullish, and that's my big trend indicator there anyway. So I'm watching my red line there until it gets breached. I'm okay with that, and that's on the month. Now the weekly is a little bit more volatile, so it chops some more, and I have to go into the dailies to really, if I'm going to trade it. So the futures thing, I'm really anxious to see it, Dwayne, and I'm anxious to trade it. But I also will tell you this. I was around when they created the futures market for crude oil, and I was trading it back then. I mean, it opened in 1975. And they just started the futures exchange. And the market was very stable for crude oil until they introduced that futures exchange in it, and then we got all this volatility, and we got that literally the oil companies controlled the price. They always set the price of gasoline so many dollars a barrel above the price of crude oil, and that's the way they did it. And they all did it together, and you know, they made sure they had a profit margin in it, and crude was just as dead as a dog as far as price movement goes. But once they introduced the futures market, we got the speculators in, and it actually increased the volatility tremendously. And eventually they crashed oil prices to levels not seen in many years. And they first drove them up to $31, and they crashed the market to $9.75, put a lot of the refiners out of business because they had no margins left to make money on. The products were, some of the products were selling under the price of crude. That was how much refining capacity that was built up, because it was automatic money before. They lost control of the market. So when I think about this, and I will tell you, there'll probably be some real forces come in to try and smash the market down or contain it or control it, you know, like they do in the gold market. The gold is a lot cheaper now because we have a futures market in it. So I'm wondering what it's going to be with this. This doesn't have a delivery mechanism, from what I understand, Dwayne. They're going to have a cash settlement. So you don't actually have to come up with the Bitcoins, which means if you're a central bank, you can print all the money you want, come up with your cash settlement. Is that correct?
Say that again?
I'm just thinking out of the box, wondering if we're going to have, you know, this is a threat to the system. Bitcoin is a real threat to the system. And I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of banking issues involved, and interests involved, to keeping it from going wild to the upside. And what better way to do it than to create a futures market and let them slap it down? that's why they're probably going to get CFTC approval for this thing. They probably figure they could take the volatility out of it, for one thing, and keep it from going vertical. And, you know, that may stabilize the market for a while. And it may crush it. It may crush a lot of the specs out. But the bottom line is, if they just have to make a cash settlement, they don't have to come up with the Bitcoins. Okay, it's not, you don't take delivery of Bitcoins on this contract. That's, to me, it's not a pure futures contract. It's kind of like the S&P index, right? Kind of like the E-minis. Aren't those cash settled? They don't settle with stocks. They settle with cash settlements, I believe. Anybody tell me wrong? I'm wrong on that?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So it's not like you're going to get corn delivered in your front yard, or someone calls on you to deliver them gold in the NYMEX storage facilities. This is they're not going to make you put the Bitcoin up to trade it. So to me, it's some kind of hybrid, and I just want to point that out. The other thing that I think is going on is, why did I make that statement at? You know, I was making the statement earlier in my reply. I just want to put it here, and then I'm pretty much done here, guys. Last weekend I wrote this up on the S&P 500. While most intraday wave counts now show completed 5-wave moves up, the S&P has plenty of room to fall before upsetting the strong uptrend. The markets may have to apply some pressure on Washington to get a constructive tax package, much like falling crude oil prices have forced OPEC into action through years. And when they go into an OPEC meeting, invariably the price of crude would start going down, and people would bet against them. And it would force them, when they had an attitude about it, it will force them to eventually cut their production. But the lower the prices went, the more friendly they came out and said that they were going to be cutting their production. You know, they didn't want to cut production. There's always a fight amongst the members that who would take the cuts. So to me, if the market ever did come off hard enough, it put enough pressure on the Congress to pass the tax reform. And, you know, they're going to give us something because they have to. They have to hold the market, you know, at least give the market somewhat of what it's expecting to do. But what I was saying is December is usually the strong seasonal month of the year, although traders may wait till after the December 12-13 FOMC meeting. I think that's the only shock we could have there is if they didn't raise rates. So they're gonna probably raise rates because they can get away with it and the market won't care. Everybody's expecting it. So my point was, this thing, even though it looked like a top short term, don't bet on it going anywhere, because the lower it goes, the more pressure will be on Congress to come with a better tax package. Because I've seen it happen.
Outstanding.
I've seen it happen in oil many times. And I think that's it, Dwayne. One day I'm going to call you and talk to you about Bitcoin, Dwayne. I've got a couple of questions for you.
I just sent you an email, you and John both, and feel free to email me back if you have any questions.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I got, guys.
John, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it all. Well done. Good job, Ed. I will look forward to our next meeting. Thanks very much.
Sounds good.
John, anything else you want to add? Ed, thank you so much. We'll see you in 13 sleeps.
Sounds good, Dwayne. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Just based on the way the VIXs are going right now, they've kind of been going sideways. They look like they might be breaking down as the S&P and the VIX is starting to, and the NASDAQ are starting to bounce off this 63348 level. And maybe we're going to get that next leg up here.
Could be, John. Very well, could be. Okay, I sent you the same email that I sent Ed, so if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Okay.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks for the invite.
Right. Thank you very
look
much.
forward to seeing you tomorrow.
All right. Talk to you.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Okay. Guys, on the S&P 500, these are this week's zones. Last night on the Concierge Trade Alert, if you didn't get a chance to snap a shot of that, snap away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. When you combine Concierge Trade Alerts, when there's volatility, along with the weekly trading zones, it's like, well, try it. You might like it. By 25.81, ran up 6 points. It actually passed through the zone. We were just looking for a 3-point move to 84, but hey, if you trail it, you might get more. Okay, the other ones worth looking at, the Dow climbed over 130 points. We said to consider buying 233.10. The Russell climbed $1,000 per contract available. And the NQ climbed $1,400 per contract available. Please keep in mind, we never get out at the swing high or the swing low because we trail our stop. And when you trail your stop, you're going to always leave a little something on the table. Okay? A reminder tonight is Partners Workshop. If you've been on the trial, if you want to become a partner, which will also allow you to participate in the partner pre-sale that is going on right now. I put a link in the chat box to an article, but you have this afternoon to get your paperwork in, and we'll get you into the partners meeting tonight. Okay, if you have questions unanswered, call 949-423-6464. It's 949-42-EMINI. Also, you can send an email to support@cfrn.net, and between Michael and I, we'll do our best to get your credentials to you, your login, your password, everything you need. And if you don't already have the indicators up and running on your chart, we'll ask Kurt and Leslie to help you with that. So, again, what a great day, what a great interview. We thank Bobir for taking time to come on the show. We will certainly have him back. You know where I'll be in the spring. I've got the invitation on tape. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.